Voilà.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you all for your patience today. Ms. Ruby Bridges, great to have you, someone who's such a historical figure in the civil rights movement here today. We want to thank you for your time. And for everyone who's here today, I know it took probably most of the time out of your day and out of work and school and everything. And I appreciate, Mr. Chairman, I do have a unanimous consent that I want to enter into the record when this is over. And if we're waving books around, here's mine, In the Company of Men, a woman at the Citadel. That's not been banned yet, as far as I know, and probably can get it used for $1 on eBay. But nonetheless, I had some questions I wanted to follow up on from my colleagues earlier today. And Ms. Berg, I want to thank you for your time today. I have a few yes or no questions that I want to ask the panelists this afternoon. And the first one, Ms. Berg, does a state superintendent of education have a role in defining curriculum for students of that state? Yes or no?
So that's more than a yes or no question?
Yes or no? Does a state superintendent of education have a role in determining the curriculum of states?
That's not how curriculum works.
What about the school board? So do school boards have a say in shaping curriculum in states' education?
That's not how curriculum
What
writing
about
works.
parents? Do parents have a say in curriculum in their kids' education?
I
Yes or
wrote a
no?
curriculum. That's not how it works,
Okay,
how
so
the
we don't
approval
want to
process
play
works.
yes or no. So I
Well,
believe
because that's
that,
not a yes or no
okay,
question.
it is a yes or no question in a democracy and in determining the outcome of education. As a daughter of a retired school teacher, as a parent, single working mom of 2 kids, I do believe that myself and their dad have a say in the outcome and the curriculum of my kids' education. Ms. Hull, thank you for being here today, and thank you for bringing your experience as a librarian with us this afternoon. So are the only libraries in the United States school libraries? Are those the only public libraries in the U.S.?
No.
So are there libraries that maybe municipalities, states, or counties also create in different states across the country?
I believe they're known as public libraries.
Right. So is there anything that prevents a student from going to a public library if they can't find a book they want to read in their school library?
Transportation would be the main one.
Okay. So if are they allowed to go to a public library, or are students allowed to go to a public library or only school libraries if they have transportation?
That would be a parent decision.
Okay. Are there other places where students or parents can get books? Maybe a bookstore, like a physical bookstore, like a Barnes & Noble bookstore?
Perhaps if they have the financial means.
Can parents buy books online, like from Amazon?
Perhaps if they have the financial means.
Can you go to a place like Goodwill and buy a book for less than $1 or maybe even get it for free?
Goodwill's selection is certainly not as expansive as those curated
Or
by
other
librarians.
bookstores. So what you're saying is there's more than one opportunity for a student or a parent to get a book to their kid's liking. It's not just, they're not only limited to public schools, they can get a book from a lot of different places, even a coffee shop if they wanted to, right?
Yes.
And you mentioned in your testimony earlier today about students having safe spaces to read. Is a classroom a safe space to read?
I believe that depends on the classroom.
Okay, what about school libraries? Are school libraries safe places to read?
I also think that depends on the individual library space.
Are kids safe to read when they're at home?
Not always.
Are most kids, we think, safe to read it while they're at home?
I do not have the numbers to represent that
Okay.
answer.
And then I had some additional questions. If a student wanted to get an LGBTQ book that wasn't in a school library, could they get it at a public library? Would it be available in a public library?
If they had the transportation and means to get
But would a LGBTQ book be available in a public library?
Of course.
Okay, or a book of any other nature. And I don't have much time left. I want to get to Mr. Padushki. I apologize if I'm not saying your name right. And you talked a lot extensively about free speech on college campuses, for example. There are a lot of examples of censored speech. Even people who are against censoring want to censor people because they don't believe in their beliefs. Like there's some people out there that want to ban me from going on Fox News because they don't agree with me. But we're going to not stop doing that. And even some cases, people are attacked for their beliefs. I've had my house spray painted last summer by someone who disagreed with my political beliefs. I've had my car keyed for the same thing. And sometimes on college campuses, students cannot don't have the freedom of speech. So can you explain to us why freedom of speech is so important in the United States of America?
Absolutely. Many reasons. I talked about the importance of expressing different viewpoints to learn about other people's goodwill. You have to come in contact with those things already. Universities are also places where you have political scientists, economists. If everybody can freely explore issues, we're going to refine public policy, and the student leaders in those classrooms are going to learn how to solve today's problems a lot better. If faculty are afraid to talk about things like racial inequality and do so in a truly wide-ranging way, we're not going to come up with the new solutions that the country needs.
Thank you. And before I run out of time, Chairman Raskin, I did want to ask unanimous consent to enter the following article into the record from my local hometown paper, the Post and Courier, regarding a college that banned a political club, a nonpartisan political club. A lawsuit was filed, and the college had to pay the students legal fees and $20,000. And this article details how the local college tried to deny access to funding and meeting spaces on a college campus for a political group that had no political affiliation. And after that lawsuit, the college changed its policy regarding how they treat students and freedom of speech.
Without objection.
Thank you, and I yield back.
Thank you for your questioning. We now recognize the distinguished gentlelady from the District of Columbia, Ms. Norton, for her 5 minutes of questioning.
Thank you very much, Mr.